I was a kid who always dreamed big. I loved the idea of being big. In the 50s, I was amazed when the Russians put Sputnik into outer space. In the 60s, I was inspired by President Kennedy, who challenged us all to put the man on the moon. And I think I was even more excited when he landed there and we had live television coverage from the moon. Wow, boy, it opened up a great world of ideas for me. So it's probably not so surprising that when I was in college, between my junior and senior year, I went off to Europe on a little trip to have some fun, backpacking on $5 a day back then. And I was in London. I happened to wander past the London School of Economics, and I saw this poster. And the poster was about satellites. Satellites, I said. Wow, I think that's going to be kind of interesting. I think I'll go inside and hear this speaker speak on satellites. And I did. And he was speaking about geosynchronous orbiting satellites. Now, how sexy is that, right? To me, it was enrapturing. I just couldn't believe about the power of these satellites that appeared to be stationary over one place on Earth and could transmit signals to one place to another without being jammed by governments. Now, I have to remind people that this was the time of the Cold War. We did not know what was behind the Berlin Wall or the Great Wall of China. There were secrets there. But today, there is no Berlin Wall. And the Great Wall of China, of course, is a tourist attraction. So things have really changed. But back then, they had secrets that we didn't know that much about. And I wondered, wow, is this going to be a powerful opportunity to really get messages behind those walls, to talk to people, to let people know what we think about human rights and our right to free right to speech. I just really thought this is so powerful. It's an idea that captured me and would never, ever let me go. And I went back and wrote a master's thesis on satellites and its impact on cultures in 1968, and people thought I was from outer space. And maybe I was, but 7 long years later, after working in different environments and satellites and television and cable television, we got the opportunity to use satellites for commercial purposes. And I was able then, later on, 2 years later, in 1977, to launch what is USA Network. It was an all-sports network. It brought all major sports to cable and changed it to entertainment over time, and had the great opportunity of building that into a multi-billion-dollar business by the time I left some 20 years later. But the reason I give you this story is to talk about big and talk about scalability and why I think women are very capable of building large businesses and can scale them. And that's what the talk is about today, because I want to show you why I really think this is possible, and as women, we have the power to do this. But first, I want to start with a little story from nature. And that's this little video I want to show you about sharks and dolphins. Sharks, we know, are strong, fast, have razor-like teeth, jaws, as we all call them. They're predators. They travel alone, and when they smell just one drop of blood, they go in for the kill. And dolphins, on the other hand, are mammals. They're intelligent. They're social beings. They travel in schools. They're the oracles of the sea. They can dart up, down, back and forth on a change like that. And they'll tell you something. They frustrate sharks. So let's take a look at this video from the BBC.